Hi, welcome to the F1 Time Portal, a Formula One history podcast by a couple of friends that love Formula One. I'm your host, Rosa.
And I'm your Take Me to the River host, Luigi. And today we are rating drivers from 1978 for our special series of Time Portal Championship Part 2. So let's go.
And welcome back, Ratna. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you guys?
I'm well. Can I just call out your superior researching and fiction skills in the previous episode? I think that
More
kept
fiction
us on
than
our
research, I
toes,
would say.
Luigi.
It did.
Yes. Yeah, no. Yeah, when I say research, maybe not all of it was factual, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Research can span a long and large, span. So welcome back.
Thank you.
And
I
Luigi.
believed him for about a minute too.
You got Louis. That was funny.
Yeah.
And take me to the river. Talking Heads.
Yes, that's for your husband, Rosa. He's
It
a big
is.
Talking
He loves
Heads fan.
Talking Heads. Yes.
He loves Talking Heads.
Yes.
And that's a good song.
Yes.
It's not my favorite
yeah.
Talking Head song, but I
No.
what's it? Psycho Killer. That's my favorite one.
Psycho Killer. Yeah.
In fact, I wonder if that was released in 78. Ratna?
Very big in the
so.
80s,
Maybe.
weren't they? They're a big 80s band, Talking Heads. So, but not surprising. This is 78, so close enough.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we get cracking on
Yes.
to race 6? We're in Belgium. So, Andretti dominated qualifying, so the real interest was who would be second, and Reutemann won this by 0.01 of a second ahead of Lauda and Villeneuve, only 0.07 seconds further back. At race start, Andretti took off to a huge chaos. Reutemann could not select second gear, and as he rolled, waiting to engage third gear, Scheckter hit Lauda, while Patrese ran into Hunt's car. There were numerous cars launched into the air and Hunt was facing the wrong way. As the race settled, Andretti was leading, with Villeneuve second, Scheckter third, but unfortunately he would soon have to pit due to car damage. As the race progressed, Villeneuve had a tyre blow and he had to pit, which put him out of contention, and Patrese had to retire from an impressive 4th place. Peterson, meanwhile, was on a charge, and it was not long before he was in second place, and it looked like an assured Lotus 1-2, until Peterson had a seriously worn front tyre, and he came into the pits for a replacement. He would be pushed back to 4th, but with only about 15 laps to go, he would charge through back to second to secure a debut 1-2 for the all-new Lotus 79. Reutemann would finish third after a last lap collision with Lafitte, and Villeneuve would finish 4th. Right, Ratna, a lot to digest there. Hit us.
Yep.
What did you think?
Well, I kept it really simple, even though there's lots to digest. Third position, actually, I gave it all to Lotus. In third position, I gave it to Lotus, as in, the car and the engineering. I thought that, superb aerodynamics, and they showed that their progression from the 77 to 78 to 79 was no fluke, right? I mean, they actually just kept getting better and better. I know that you might have a different view on that, Luigi, but, I thought they'd done really well.
Yes.
In second and in my second place, I sort of flipped it. I gave it to Mario Andretti because he debuted the Lotus 79 and won it quite robustly, and good on him for doing that. And in first place, despite coming in second, I gave that to Ronnie Peterson for 2 reasons. One is that he was driving a bit of an older car. Not that it was a bad car, but he drove a 78, and he was not given the brand new car. Poor guy. Despite that, and also having tire issues, he came in second. So I thought that was a really solid effort by Peterson.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, Ratna. I like the fact that you've given Peterson the top billing there for his drive in an older car, and he went through the field in that car. So, that's good.
Yeah, good pick. And just to clarify, I'm not anti-Lotus. I'm anti their naming convention.
All right, okay.
Because if I redo what you said, that progression with the 77 from 76, the 78 from 77, and the 79 from 78. Did I say that right?
Yes.
I did.
you did.
So it's not right, is it? Anyway, I still gave Lotus my equal third pick with Patrese. So the Lotus 79 got third place. Amazing debut 1-2 for their advanced ground effect wing car, because the Lotus 78 was a wing car, but the 79 took it to another level. And Patrese, while he retired early, he was actually in fourth place when he did retire due to suspension issue, and he probably would have finished second or third, I think. So which is why I wanted to give him some credit. Equal second, I had Peterson and Villeneuve. Peterson, for the reasons that Ratner explained, and Villeneuve, the blown tyre, and he still came home a strong fourth despite that tyre fault not being his. Or in the side of my mind was like, or was it poor tyre management? Did he push that tyre? Was he hitting curbs a lot? I don't know. But with Villeneuve, probably a bit of this and a bit of that.
Yes.
And the win was just Andretti. Pole start to finish win. He was just in a zone. But I think Ratner was really good in picking Peterson for win too. I think I could easily sleep on either option, you know?
Yeah. You're back to choosing every single driver that you like this year, Luigi. You're just finding it hard to leave out your favourites.
Well, I can't change it now.
And you've
It's
shoved in a car as well.
Yeah.
I'm regretting not putting Peterson higher up. I've given him third place. 15 lap charge from 7th to 2nd. It doesn't sound as good as when I read out the thing and then how Ratner described it either. So given him third. I've given Villeneuve second place. I think he was unlucky to have these issues when it happened for him. But yes, I had to give Andretti the first spot. Well, I didn't have to. I just did because, again, he just did dominant race from qualifications to the win. But no, I'm going to have a good hard look at myself because I pretty much agree with Peterson first as well.
Okay.
All right, but this race we have a change in the leaderboard. We have Andretti storm into the lead now on 54. Reutemann second on 48, Depailler third on 38, Lauda fourth on 36.
Okay.
And we're off to Spain.
We're off to Spain. And I'm being a bit distracted because I've got to make sure my book, I can look at the year results and the race results so I can critique.
Okay.
And I wanted to make a quick comment that we're up to race 7. And I mean, like I said, there's no spoilers in this. We know Andretti wins this championship and we know, unfortunately, Peterson doesn't. And I haven't really seen cause for thinking Peterson was going to win the championship, is just saying so far.
Yeah, no.
For those that think
not
that
so
he
far.
should have. Not so far.
Yep.
So we're up to race 7 of 16, the Spanish Grand Prix. So Lotus now turned up with a new pair of Lotus 79s for both their drivers. So Ratner can't lean on that to give Peterson special credit now. And both Lotus drivers made full advantage of their new car. They easily qualified first and second. At race start, Andretti made a good start, Hunt an awesome one, and from the second row to take the lead. But it would only be 6 laps before Andretti easily took the lead and pulled away. Peterson, however, made a poor start and he was back tonight. But he fought his way back to second place. In the meantime, there was a gaggle of cars vying for third, which was sort of like best of the rest first. Who was it? Lafitte was impressive by finishing third, partly due to a strong drive and partly due to some retirements of Brabham's, Ferraris and so forth. So there was not much more to mention other than total domination by Lotus, with Andretti first, Peterson second, Lafitte third, Scheckter fourth in the Wolf, Watson fifth, and Hunt sixth due to tyre issues. Over to you, Ratner, your top 3 and why?
Right. I had Jacques Lafitte in the third position, just as how he finished. Well, it's pretty cool to have a French guy in a French team that was not Renault or Alpine. He was in Ligier, right?
Yes.
So he came in third for me. And top 2, Ronnie Peterson in second place. Again, great drive, nice new car. He built his way from 9th to the second position. And Andretti, I mean, quite irrefutably, I mean, he just pretty much held ground and, finished on top. Also on a Lotus.
Yeah. And you'll be glad to hear, everyone, just 3 picks for me.
Oh, wow.
I can do normal. But I put Peterson in third though. I acknowledge his strong recovery drive back up to second, but it was based on his own poor start down to ninth. So he put himself in that position, but good on him for getting it back up there. But I put Lafitte in second because he was 10th on the grid. He finished third, and I'm rewarding him for being he's not in the Lotus 79, and he was right up there, for like being best of the rest, essentially. And Andretti first, pure dominance. And I want to give Andretti some credit for waiting 6 laps before he took the lead from Hunt. Now, later in the season, we talk about Andretti being a little bit impatient, maybe. In this case, he showed a bit of patience and he got rewarded. So I'm giving him a pat in the back for that, as well as being just the fastest driver of the day.
Yeah. Yes, I also had Peterson third for his comeback drive, but agreed with you, Louis, that he muffed his start. So, don't reward mediocrity, as one of our other guests keeps telling us. I actually put the Lotus 79 into the second spot here. I think, was this the race, Louis, that they just blitzed all the qualifying times? They went from 77.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've put in my notes just for moving the goalposts. They've just transformed Formula One again. The Lotus team. So I've put the Lotus 79 in there. And yes, I gave Andretti my first spot as well. He's just unstoppable once he gets in the lead in that car, unless there's anything that happens in the car. He's just, no one can catch him.
Yeah.
So, I've put Andretti first. Okay, so after 7 races, Andretti has stretched his lead. He's now on 78. Reutemann is stuck on 48. Peterson is on 46 and Depailler is on 38 and Lauda is on 36. So there's quite a competition for second, but Andretti looks very strong there in first place.
Yeah.
Okay, we're off to the Swedish Grand Prix. Welcome to the Brabham fan car, which made its debut here. In short, this car used a huge fan on the back of the car. It was mounted rearward facing and it was used to suck the car to the ground. It gained a lot of attention and protests from the other teams, but was competitive in qualifying. That's probably why it gained a lot of attention and protests, especially from Lotus. Andretti was first, then Watson and Lauda. So there you go, they're in the fan car. At race start, Watson hesitated, so Andretti and Lauda would charge off into the lead together. Patrese in the Arrows would move up to third and would have numerous challenges involving Watson and Jones. At about the halfway mark, Andretti made a small error and it was enough for Lauda to sneak through into the lead, and from there he would pull away and win easily. Andretti would retire a few laps later with a blown engine, meaning Patrese was up to second place. Peterson on a comeback drive, he likes his comeback drives, doesn't he? From an earlier pit stop, was right on Patrese's tail and onto the last lap, was desperately trying to take second place. Patrese even resorted to weaving to keep that Lotus behind him.
That's okay. Anyway, go on.
Andini does it. Patrese would succeed in holding second place. Peterson would finish third. There was a huge battle for fourth, which was taken by Tombe in the McLaren, then Regazzoni in the Shadow, and Fittipaldi. Ferrari finished 9th and 10th. I feel like you just put that in there just to wind me up, Louis. Ferrari finished way down out of the points. But anyway,
Ferrari has a zigzag season, Ratna.
Yeah,
and this is the zig down, obviously.
This is a zag, yes.
Yeah.
All right, Ratna, over to you.
Okay. In third place, I had Patrese. I think it'll be a bit of a pattern that I'm not a fan of this guy for reasons quite obvious. He was downgraded for 2 things. One is that because of his eventual role in Peterson's demise, and also for his weaving towards the end and trying to block Peterson. I thought that was a bit uncool, but not that it's not legal, but he did it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not legal now, but it probably was back then, wasn't it?
I
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In second position, I have a downgraded Lauda for his fan car. Interesting trivia. When I was a kid, I actually owned a fan car, but it was just a wind-up rubber band thing with a propeller at the back on a car, and it just flew.
Yeah,
So
same.
Yeah,
same.
same.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty nostalgic, but still not very cool in this sense because I do think that it gave him an unfair advantage for sure. And in first place, good old Peterson, I put him in there for just charging back and coming in third overall, and also being a home ground hero. So yeah, Peterson first.
Wow.
There's so much in that,
Oh my
especially
gosh!
the crazy one.
I feel like Ratna's found all of our buttons and has just like been pushing them consistently.
Yeah. But some of this is going to be talked about later, I think. But
Yes.
I'm questioning you on the Peterson thing because I didn't even put Peterson in my top three because I was of the view, here's Peterson with an unbelievably dominant car and Patrese, yes, okay, the weaving a bit unethical. I was joking earlier. But still, that car should have just been better to just zip around him on the outside of any corner he wanted. And I think Patrese must have been driving really well to keep that special car behind him. So I think I'm disagreeing with you on the Peterson thing. That's the only thing I wanted to mention.
Fair call. Yeah.
Rosa, any comments for Ratna to consider? Think she might be frozen. So you know what I'll do is I'll do my top three and we'll see how we go from there, right? My top three is I had Patrese in third because he did well to hold on to second place against a charging Watson and Jones earlier in the race and then Peterson later in the race to what I was saying before. So weaving tactics at the end is dubious. I'm not condoning that at all, but he did really well to sort of keep behind him a really, really superior car that had just completely dominated the field in the last two races that it has existed. I gave second to the Brabham fan car because I thought, just what a great idea, what a great story. One race, one win. And we talk more about the fan car in the next race, about the domino politics of it all.
Yeah.
And I gave Lauda the win. Great drive and win. Legit pass on Andretti to take the win in the fan car. The thing that's impressive is that Lotus 79 was a step above, and Lauda in that fan car literally drove around that Lotus 79 like it was a normal car, and so it was like, wow, where can this go? And we never see it again, of course, but it just showed that he really had the confidence and the strength to take that on and do it. So good on him for Lauda.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Any comments from you on that, Ratna, before we get Rose's
look,
three?
I thought, agreed with you as well. I mean, I thought that Patrese drove a very defensive drive, right? He was like, probably aggressive in that sense. And agree with you where Lauda where could have Lauda gone with that fan car? If that was a trajectory in, car engineering going forward from there, just like turbocharging and all that later, that would have been a really interesting way to see how fast these cars could go. And I don't know how much, they don't talk about handling so much about the fan car. They all talk about speed and so on. Yeah. But it must be because of the downward thrust. It must be a very, really stable car too.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah. So, I mean, and to that point though, it's like Lauda even said, and I know we're covering a little bit off as per the race recap episodes, I was going to mention that Lauda was confident he was going to win this championship if he had that car for the rest of the season, but obviously that didn't happen.
There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Rosa, we're up to you now. So, Rosa had some technical issues. She had to step out because of storms. We're up to your top three.
Okay. I missed all that conversation. Have you put Ratna back in his place, have you?
I don't know, Ratna. I don't think I did really, did I?
No, we celebrated the fan car and all that, but...
okay. Well, that's good. Yes, I had the Brabham fan car in third. Great ground effect car design with the added bonus of flinging debris into the other cars, which I thought was very funny.
Yes.
I had Patrese second. Questionable tactics, but good enough for second. And look, back in the day, they weren't illegal. They were perhaps a little bit unethical, as you say, Luigi. But he didn't get penalised for it. There was no black flagging or anything. No one said anything. So, you race to the conditions. And
Yeah.
I had Lauda first, took his opportunity when it was presented and, went on to win. So that's my top three.
Yeah, I would call the Brabham fan car should have been a bit higher, is what I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Semantics.
Okay. Okay, so after race 8, so we're halfway through the season. We have Andretti first on 78, Lauda second on 58, and Peterson third on 54.
Okay, and Reutemann's still up there in fourth on 48. And I'm just mentioning him because
he's stuck. He's been stuck on 48 for a long time now. Yeah, I don't think anyone's given him.
This is when Enzo Ferrari was discussing with Scheckter.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so we're up to race 9 of 16, the French Grand Prix. So with the Brabham team having to backtrack their fan card, and we're not going to recap all of that because that's very heavily covered in the recap episodes, so please listen to those. It was a surprise to still see the Brabhams were competitive, as they sort of were competitive before the fan card too, weren't they? And it was actually Watson who claimed pole in the Brabham, with Andretti second and Lauda third in the other Brabham, and then Hunt in the McLaren. At race start, Watson would grab the lead, but Andretti would easily pass him on the back straight and simply pull away. Hunt made a good start too, but he was boxed in, and this caused him to fall back to 6th. So with Andretti pulling away, Watson couldn't stay with him, so waved his teammate Lauda through into second to see if he could do anything about the leading Andretti. Just impressively, that's without team radio. That's like drivers are using common sense. However, Watson left too much of a gap, and Peterson snuck through as well, which is not the way it's meant to be done. Hunt on a charge got past Watson, and from the halfway mark of the race, Peterson was catching Andretti and Hunt was catching Peterson. And these three drivers were eventually nose to tail for half the race. It's very exciting, but neither could pass. Then on the very last lap, Hunt spun due to nearly vomiting, but he was well ahead of the 4th place. So Lotus ended up finishing first and second again. Andretti and Peterson, then Hunt would hold on for third. Watson would finish 4th, having held off a determined Alan Jones, who hounded him for more than half the race. So over to you, Ratna, your top 3 and why.
Yeah, and in third position, I had Ronnie Peterson, and in second position, I had Andretti. I don't know, it's starting to become a bit boring now with the Lotus,
yes,
the Lotus winning, but they've just been showing so much dominance that you can't look away from that, right? I was going to throw a bit of Jones in there just because he's Aussie and all that, but I thought leave him out of this one. But the sentimentality, then I've given it to Hunt to be in number 1 because this was his last ever podium finish in F1. So I just thought maybe we could just celebrate him. And he had a good race. I mean, not that he was a slouch, but he held on to that third position pretty much neck and neck in the last few rounds.
There you go.
Yeah.
Interesting little trivia there. I didn't realise that Hunt burned brightly but shortly.
Yes. Yeah. He didn't have a long career, did he?
No.
But that's a good call out, right? No, we didn't call it out in our recap episode, so thank you for that.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
So, but good picks. But I do think, though, you must get bored real quick, Ratna, because it's not like Lotus have been dominating all year. It's just the last few races.
Yeah,
and we had a fan car dominating in between that. So, geez, Ratna, you're very intolerant. I had 2 drivers in equal third. I had Jackie Stewart for leading the pace lap.
Really?
Oh, come on.
He was in the lead. He was leading. I said in that Renault, he wasn't in a Renault, was he?
He was in the spare Renault.
He was in the Renault. He was in the Renault, yeah. So
remember, because Jabouillet had trouble and he couldn't get in the spare car.
Because it had the camera attached to it by Jackie Stewart. So, yes, that's right. It wasn't the Renault.
He wasn't even in the race. How can you give this is your love of Jackie Stewart just coming
I've got legal reason to say he was on the track. Okay?
So that qualifies him then.
That qualifies.
Yeah.
I did give, like Ratner, I gave Hunt third place, equal with Stewart, for holding back a vomit and being the Lotus tail for the second half of the race. He must have been driving his guts out, ironically, pardon the pun.
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, it must have been hard to stay with those Lotuses that were stuck to the ground with a special vacuum feature, you know?
Yeah,
So good on him for doing what he did. So, and getting his last ever podium now that I realise that. And I had Peterson in second, strong drive to second. And it made me think that he probably could have won this race because he was on Andretti's tail, which indicates maybe he had pace in hand. And for first, I put Andretti that he won the race, held off the close attentions of Peterson, but maybe Peterson was holding back. But still, he won the race. And I think he got pole, which gives him credit for that too. Yes, he did get pole because Peterson was like in sixth place. So that validates my win for Andretti. Over to you, Rosa.
Yep. So I pretty much have the same tips as yours, except without Stewart, because that's ridiculous. So I wish I was as smart as Ratner and say that I gave Hunt points for his last ever podium, but no, I just gave it to him for not vomiting at the end of the day. Peterson second, made his way to second, and Andretti, just another great race from him, unstoppable. So, pretty routine tips, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got 7 races left, and Andretti is on 100 points in the lead. Peterson second now on 70, Lauda third on 58, and Reutemann stuck there on 48. I think Patrese out of the running. He's on 44.
I don't think he ever was in the running, but
no,
he just shone very brightly at the start.
He did. Yes. All right. We're going to do race 10. We're at the British Grand Prix. Lotus dominated practice with Peterson securing pole, followed by Andretti. Scheckter was third, Lauda fourth. At race start, Andretti took the lead and the 2 Lotuses pulled away. However, Peterson had car issues, and after about 29 laps, Andretti was out as well with engine issues. The race had many retirements, and by halfway, 14 of the 26 starters were out. And even drivers like Patrese were up to second place in the Arrows. Oh, that's a bit of a diss there. Even drivers like Patrese, until his car had issues. Jones in the Williams was right up there in second as well until he had car issues. And even Rosberg in a backmarker car and mostly not qualifying in the ATS was in fourth place until he retired. This meant that Lauda was in the lead with Reutemann in second place, enjoying new high-profile special Michelin tyres. With less than 10 laps to go, Lauda was lapping a backmarker when there was a misunderstanding. Reutemann took advantage of the confusion, surprised all of them by diving into the lead, which he would hold on to until the end. Lauda would come second, with Watson in the other Brabham in third. Depailler fourth in the Tyrrell, Stuck in the Shadow fifth, and Tombe sixth in the McLaren. Yes, a race of very high attrition. Over to you, Ratna.
Yeah, I'll make a special mention of Lotus just for the pure horror of not finishing, which is terrible, right? After such a good run with amazing cars.
Yes.
You mean a boring run?
Well, yeah, boring good, right? Which then, gave Brabham some pretty good finish positions. So I gave Watson third and Lauda second, both in Brabhams. And in first position, I gave it to Reutemann, even though it sounded like, he was opportunistic because it sort of took advantage of the other mishaps, but still a decent drive and a good one for Ferrari.
Okay.
Yep. All good.
Yep. I had 2 drivers in equal third. I had Rosberg in a backmarker car. Come on, it was a backmarker car. He was in fourth place. Okay, yes, there was a lot of retirements, but he retired on lap 59. So
yeah, but he ended up in fourth because everyone in front of him retired.
But he was still there.
Okay.
So I'm just giving him credit. Oh, come on, this guy's
To be fair, you're not going to give him a lot of credit in his career.
I like Kiki Rosberg.
Okay.
It's his son that I'm not a big fan of. But anyway, Jones, I put him in third. He was out on lap 27, so I acknowledge this is a little bit of a stretch, but he's in a middle rate car, and he was really pushing for the lead. Again, he's done this a couple of times now, so he's really shining. So I want to give Jones some credit too. But second place, I put in Patrese. While he retired on lap 40, he was in second place, and I think he should have come second. So just righting the wrongs of that. And Reutemann, opportunistic move to take the lead. And what a big turnaround from the last race. He came last. He actually came last in the last race, and here he is winning this race. So the zigzag of Ferrari continues. Yeah.
And I need to take another long look at myself because my tips are again the same as yours, except without Rosberg. I gave it to Jones for the same reason. I know it was on lap 27, but his drive shaft failed and he was right up there. He was pushing and he was running in second. So it's just unlucky that his car's letting him down again. Yep, I had Patrese second, was running second when the puncture caused suspension issues on lap 40. So he could have come second. Look, I've given Reutemann the win because I really couldn't choose between Patrese and Jones. They were both running second. They probably both could have won the race. He's a bit lucky, Reutemann, but he did have to held off Lauda to win, didn't he, in the end? I think he was in a bit of a fight with Lauda. Yeah. So in the end, Lauda came second. But how much did he beat Lauda?
Less than a second.
Yeah. So
no,
a
little bit more, 1.2 seconds. But
okay. All right. Yeah. So I gave it to Reutemann as well.
And don't pretend, he's in a Ferrari. Come on, he's in a Ferrari. That played. You're acting like that's not part of the decision making, but it's very much part of the decision making.
Moving on, we have Andretti. He didn't get any points, so he's on 100 points still. But Reutemann has shot up into second again on 72. So he's made it from 48 to 72 this round. Peterson third on 70 with no points in this round. Lauda is on 64 and Patrese is on 56.
Okay. So we'll get one more race in, I think, because I think we're going to need a bit of time for the next one. So this is race 11 of 16, the German Grand Prix. So the Lotus pair were dominant as usual, with Andretti snatching pole from an in-form Peterson. Lauda qualified third, Scheckter fourth. At race start, Andretti took the lead but lost it at the chicane, so Peterson was leading at the end of the first lap. Scheckter had some engine issues and fell right back, but his engine issues would clear and he would start to quickly catch up on the front runners. Up front, on lap 4, Peterson waved Andretti through, as he was the designated number 1, as in Andretti. And these two ran 1-2, train formation, or in boring formation, according to Ratna, until lap 35, when Peterson's Lotus got stuck in fourth gear and he would be forced to retire. There were many retirements, and while Jones was third behind the Lotus pair for much of the race, he would retire with fuel vaporization issues due to the heat. Scheckter found himself in second place after both Jones and Peterson retired. Lafitte would finish third, Fittipaldi fourth, which is an indication of how many drivers actually retired in this race. Just a little kick in the guts for Fittipaldi.
Yeah.
Over to you, Ratna, your top 3 and why.
Okay, I gave a special mention to Nelson Piquet for his F1 debut. There were conflicting reports. One said that he was driving, he was a test driver, but I don't know. I think he probably was.
Yeah, and he had another. He test drove for the Hong Kong outfit, which I can't remember what it was called now.
Ensign?
Was it Ensign? It is a bit vague how he actually got in, but yes, he's there.
Yeah.
He's there or thereabouts.
He's there. Yeah, well, he got to start somewhere, I suppose.
That's right.
Yeah, and in third position, I gave that to Lafitte because he came in third. Nothing really spectacular about that from my perspective. In second position, I gave it to our Aussie. This is the redemption from before. To Alan Jones. I thought, he drove amazingly. He was neck and neck with Lauda at some point. And what a way to go. I mean, with the heat and, fuel vaporization. I mean, it's almost like someone, put in a tube and siphoned your fuel out of your car.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much what happened, right? Which is terrible.
Yes.
And of course, with number one, I give that to, or not of course, but because he was in such good form and a great car, Mario Andretti gets number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't feel anything about the waving thing? You don't think that's tarnished it at all?
Well, a little bit, but, I mean, there were still good drives it seemed like really tough conditions this time around because of, the people who never made it and stuff like that.
Yeah, we like in the recaps, we struggled at this point, Ratna, Luigi and I, because we felt that Peterson was coming into some good form. He was taking poles, and his race pace was getting up there. He was keeping up with Andretti, and it was really his contract that stopped him.
Yeah.
And we thought that if he hadn't signed such a ironclad contract which put him firmly as this number two driver to the point where he had to defer to Andretti, we probably would have had a closer championship on our hands, although other events overtake that.
Of course.
But we struggled with that whole contract thing. I don't think anyone's done it quite so severely again, or maybe a Ferrari pairing that I can remember.
I think interesting. I was going to mention that, and let's not forget the last race, Peterson was right behind Andretti and was on his tail, which is, I think, a sign he had pace in hand.
That's right.
Yeah. But I think to your point, Rosa, about have many other teams done this sort of thing? Yes, they have. But yes and no. I think it's more that drivers have intercepted the situation by ensuring the other driver was not a number one.
Yeah, okay.
Like I think, for example, when Senna was with Lotus, he felt the Lotus team couldn't handle a two-car team, so he always made sure the other driver was, say, a B or C driver that would not threaten or distract. Is a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Well, the pairing of Prost and Senna, case in point.
Yes.
But I don't think anyone's signed such a ironclad contract like that before. Like, I don't think I've seen that happen again, where you are totally subservient to the number one driver in contract terms. Like, they do it on the track.
Yeah. I wonder what Rubens Barrichello signed for Ferrari.
That's the pairing I was thinking of.
Is that what you were thinking of? Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Schumacher and Barrichello.
Yeah.
Thinking, wonder what happened there. Although, I don't know whether...
But Barrichello was not a Peterson. He was not challenging Schumacher.
Not. I mean, exactly. Schumacher wouldn't have...
He sometimes outpaced him maybe 10 or 20% of the time.
Yeah. All right.
So for me, I had Andretti in third. I didn't like the fact that it was waved through into the lead, and I think he's better than that. And I do think over most of the season, he has had the pace advantage over Peterson anyway. So, I felt like he could have just come second to Peterson. It wouldn't have been such a big deal, in my view, because I think he had the pace to beat him over the season. So have that security and confidence in yourself, Andretti, which I think he does and had anyway. But for some
Andretti
reason,
didn't ask to be waved through. It wasn't him that did it. There was no radio. There's not like what happens now. I've got the pace. Let me through. None of that would have happened. He didn't signal. I don't know. It's a bit
Peterson
harsh on blaming Andretti.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just not putting him first.
Boy, but that's what you said. You're downgrading. You think he's better than that. He shouldn't have been waved through. It wasn't him that asked for it.
I'm not trying to change the world from the past. I'm trying to say that, like after the race, Andretti should have spoken to the Lotus team and said, look, I know what's on paper, but look, I've got you, Peterson. I'm not if he said that.
That's never going to happen, right?
That is never in a million years going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Geez.
Moving on.
Okay, moving on. So I had Jones in second place because he was doing so well in that midfield Williams, and he retired with 13 laps to go, and he would have come second for sure. And Peterson, I gave him the win. He was leading him. I mean, he waved him through on lap 5, but And I think he had the race. I think he had the pace in hand, and he retired with 8 laps to go. So I think he was unlucky in that regard.
You know what I find most enjoyable about these things, Louis, that when you read your picks out when we're doing this recording, you figure out that some of your reasoning isn't 100% and some of your tips are a bit wonky. It just makes me laugh so much. Okay. I put Jones third. I put him third because he was running third when he had to retire. I'm not sure that he would have caught the people in front of him, but who knows? I put Peterson second, waved his teammate through, and then retired from second. So that's why I gave him second, and I gave Andretti the win. Yeah, look, I'm a little bit less harsh on him. It wasn't him that signed the contract. Maybe it was him that made the contract have that clause in there. Oh, who knows? I doubt it. Maybe. But yeah, he did what he had to do. He won. Dominant race again.
I'm just going to say something that's controversial. If I was to be given a Formula One drive right now and I was put in the Red Bull team, I would 100% make Max Verstappen sign a number 2 contract because otherwise I'm being thrashed, you know? So
there's no way that Max would ever sign a number 2 contract, even if his life depended on it.
Yeah, even like to a 50-year-old guy who's never driven Formula One. Anyway.
Okay. So after 11 races, we have Andretti in the lead on 120, Peterson second on 84, and Reutemann third on 72. Lauda is fourth on 64. And we're going to call it there. Yep, we're taking a break and we'll come back for the last part in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.